Jody, tell me more about the work that you're doing, the ancestral mother. I've heard you talk about that before, and I really want to know more. What does that mean?
Well, I think before I want to talk about ancestral mothers, I want to talk about ancestors in general and why more and more and more of my own work, and I see other people's work, is moving towards working with our ancestors. And why is this, a lot of people say, they ask me, why is this so important? And I, I think it really, we have to go way, way back, like 5,000 years, to really understand how indigenous peoples really dealt with, their ancestors and how people, as they aged in different cultures, in indigenous cultures around the world, ancestors or elders were revered. They were respected and they were listened to, and oftentimes, sometimes different cultures said, well, the little ones and the grandmothers are very close because they both have a foot in the other world. And they were respected, and we all know, like, different people had altars, different cultures had altars for their ancestors, and there was a reason for this. It's because this is your lineage, this is where you're coming from, this is who you are, and there's hundreds of thousands of ancestors behind you that have culminated into who you are today. And in our very fast food culture, in our real megabyte culture, it's for hundreds of years, literally, we've been on this trajectory of not treasuring the past or the history. And in fact, I recently read something about, which I've seen personally, but as immigrants came over from wherever they came from, whether that was Ireland or England or the Eastern Europe or Africa, a lot of people as immigrants were encouraged to just leave all of that behind. Leave behind the heritages and leave behind the culture and the traditions. And you're in America now. You're starting anew. You're starting afresh. And so as time has moved forward very quickly, we have laid all of that to rest. We've buried it as quickly as possible. I mean, look at our burial rites today. We don't really have extended burial rites, especially in American culture. It's like, let's hurry up and get the funeral over so that we can move on with our lives. And that was not how it was done in indigenous cultures. And look at how we treat our elders now. The majority of our elders are put into nursing homes. They're isolated from their families. They're not part of the traditional or tribal family. So we really have this way in which once our elders pass, they are not revered in any way. And what I really drew a correlation, which I think is pretty important for people to understand about ancestors, is we don't value our our elders. And so as somebody reaches the end of their life, they're feeling less valued and less valued. So when they cross over, they're also feeling less valued. They don't feel like they have any purpose. They haven't prepared for that part of their journey. Whereas in other indigenous cultures, as an elder, you were revered, and people helped you prepare for that passing. And then when you passed, they helped you prepare for the afterworld. And then you became what we would call an ancestral helping spirit. And those people that are your ancestral helping spirits are there to sort of support you as a living entity as you move forward until you become an ancestral helping spirit. And so if you look at what we've done in our culture, when they cross over, they're no more use to us than they were at the end of their life. And so we have not ancestral helping spirits out there by the thousands, but we have pretty much ghosts out there by the thousands who don't know their place and can't really help us. So I think that's a really important piece to understand about why ancestors are important. And then to come back to the mother line, I say to women who are working with me and who are trying to, empower themselves and build a different sense of who they are as a woman, it's really difficult to do this without having worked on who are your ancestors, who are your mothers. Because if you think about it, the seeds of your ancestors are planted in a woman at her conception. And that is carried on for generations and generations. Those seeds carry on. So who are we? Who was our mother? Who was our grandmother? Who were these women that stood behind us? And so in order for us to really step into our place and our power in this world, it's really essential for us to go back and work with our female ancestors and in our mother line, specifically because we're trying to heal the past traumas of the last 2,000 or 3,000 years.